We are currently in the Ginkakuji temple. We're here with our friends Dan, Mayu, and Georgina, and we're learning lots of things. It's surrounded by these beautiful gardens with all of these paths. They have like sand gardens too that they've like raked to perfection. We got to go and kind of climb up the hill a little bit and see them from above. They're like perfect straight lines. It's amazing. Apparently this place gets really crowded normally, but there are some other people here, but it's really not crowded at all. We even came across a tree that's 500 years old. We would have had no idea because the sign was fully in Japanese, but that is the blessing of being able to travel with a local. This is a beautiful garden. Highly recommend you come. It's 500 yen per person, but I think it's totally worth it. You get to walk around, there's some trails, and the architecture is old and stunning. How do you say the name of this?
Mitarashi dango. That's good, I like it.
This one's made with matcha, and then this one is made with like a soy sauce. I had the soy sauce on first, it's really good. Oh, very good.
Which one you like better?
Soy sauce.
Soy sauce?
By
Yeah.
far. Me too. Yeah, you like it too? Yeah. So we're at Nanzenji, which I just learned that Ji means temple, and this is actually the gate behind me. That's not even the temple. It's ginormous. All of those pillars are like one tree, and we also learned that they didn't have any nails back then, so the entire thing was constructed of like wooden pegs like into each other. It's massive. And then in front of me is the temple. When we were in Tokyo, we went to a few Buddhist temples there, and in front of all the temples there's like a cauldron with like incense burning, and it's traditional to like go up to the incense and like waft it onto yourself as like a purification process before you go into the temple. Every temple you go to, there's always people lighting incense and doing that. We're currently on a bridge looking for some marks from a sword fight that happened here. Find it?
I think you can see it from this direction.
So this is where the epic sword battle happened. You can see it, people touch it, and that's why it's so soft.
Samurai fight.
Samurai fight, there you go. This is ninja status. This bridge we are on right now is on this famous road that goes from the old capital to the new capital of Japan. So it was changed to Tokyo way back when, but then this is like a direct road to get to Tokyo. And there's these statues of these two little boys about to go on a journey into Tokyo. It's really cool. So after we went over the bridge, we walked over to a market in Kyoto that has a ton of different food and different things. And we're gonna try to find something to eat. Something that looks good, but it's still really cold. So I think we're trying to find a warm place too.
I think the consensus is that we're gonna get some udon. It's a good way to get warm.
We found a spot for lunch. We're getting ochazuke, which is very traditional here in Kyoto. I actually am not eating fish. I'm having duck, which they're known for. And then Yevon has salmon and some fish eggs and some other things. But they give us instructions on how to eat them. So you pour the fish stock onto your rice, add your toppings, and then there's also an egg. Looks really delicious though. It's beautiful. Slimy. I don't know how you eat an egg with chopsticks.
Well, you have the spoon.
How do you use a spoon? Yes.
I obviously hated it. You know, I couldn't finish it. It was delicious. It was really yummy. Warm, filling. Never would have thought that I'd put duck with like a fish broth over rice with some seaweed. But it was good.
So lunch was a success. Our meals were amazing, filling, and pretty cheap. Now we're walking back through the streets of the market. We are gonna go do something really cool. We're actually gonna go and experience the official tea ceremony.
It's a very good strawberry.
Only perfect in Japan.
I feel very special having a strawberry in Japan. You know, like in America, you have a whole carton of strawberries and it's not a big deal, but here it's like such a luxury. I'm like, oh, I'm eating one strawberry. This is amazing.
With mochi.
Mochi.
It really does complement the red bean paste. It's really good. You should take a good bite, like a real bite.
That one's really good.
It's very good. Chuchut? Oh, it's good. But this is a very
That's
good.
very good.
That's good, but this is very good.
We stopped by this mochi place and we all had some mochis. My mochi was filled with chestnuts and the one that Amy got was topped with a strawberry. The chestnut one was pretty good, but the strawberry one was amazing. I think it's the best mochi we've had so far here in Japan.
Okay, so now we're gonna do a traditional tea ceremony. We're just figuring out where we're gonna go in. Really excited for this. So we just finished a traditional tea ceremony. We didn't do like a full complete tea ceremony because they're apparently like 4 hours long. Include food, 2 different types of tea. But we had like an abridged version. It was about a half hour long. We had some sweets and then we had the best matcha I've ever tasted. She like mixed it up like so fast. It was so creamy, like silky. Like I would never want to put sugar or milk into this because it would totally contaminate it. But we sat in this little room. I was the first guest, so therefore I got to make all of the mistakes. But she was so sweet. She gave instructions. She mostly spoke in Japanese, and then our friend Mayu actually translated. It was definitely a really cool experience. If you're here, try to figure out where you can do a tea ceremony. It only cost us, I think, like around $15 per person. You get some sweets, you get more education than you can get walking around on your own, and it was definitely a worthwhile experience.
Since Amy was the guest of honor, one of the things that Amy was able to do was she got to drink the tea first, and also at the end of the ceremony, when the host cleans up the utensils, Amy, as the guest of honor, is allowed to ask questions, while the rest of the guests don't really get that privilege traditionally. We also learned that the host gets to choose the bowls that each of the guests will be drinking from. Each of the bowls have different imagery on them. which mean different things. So they get to choose a message to give to that person as they drink their tea. Overall, it was an amazing experience.
So we're walking in kind of like the old part, the old town of Kyoto. So everything's old buildings, traditional. There's lots of shops. Like, it is very touristy, but it's beautiful. And like with the sun setting, it's really gorgeous. I could walk here for hours, except for the fact that my nose is gonna freeze off. It's beautiful, the sun's going down. We're just enjoying strolling in the streets. And then I think we're gonna stroll to the train station.